The cold wind howled through the empty streets. The sky was dark and heavy, warning of an approaching snowstorm. On the sidewalk, a thin German shepherd trudged forward, each step heavy, its breath forming white clouds in the freezing air. It had no strength left, its legs trembling as if they could collapse at any moment. But despite the pain, it kept moving, with only one goal in mind. Its eyes were locked on a veterinary clinic, the only place that could save it, and the tiny lives still waiting to be born inside. Inside the clinic, Dr. Evan Carter was cleaning up after a long day. The glass windows rattled slightly from the strong wind outside, but he paid no attention. Until, click. A faint sound came from the door. Dr. Carter looked up, frowning. Who would be outside in weather like this? He stepped closer, but the moment he looked out, his heart sank. A dog. But not just any stray. It was shaking, its belly swollen and heavy, nearly touching the ground from the weight. Oh God, she was pregnant. Dr. Carter rushed to open the door, but the moment the icy wind hit, the dog stumbled and collapsed. Oh no! He ran toward her. Up close, he could finally see the exhaustion in her eyes. Her body was covered in old scars, her paw pads cracked, and her breathing was ragged, as if she had traveled an impossible distance just to get here. He knelt beside her, his voice urgent, yet gentle. "Hey there, sweet girl. I've got you. Just hold on." She lifted her eyes to meet his, filled with both fear and desperation. And then, with the last of her strength, she lowered her head into his outstretched hand. She had chosen to trust him. Dr. Carter quickly slid his arms under the frail dog's body, lifting her gently. Her body was ice cold, her matted fur soaked with snow. But what worried him most? Her stomach was unnaturally rigid. This wasn't just a normal pregnancy. She was in labor. "Hold on, I'm getting you inside." He hurried into the clinic, the door slamming shut behind him, cutting off the bitter wind outside. On the exam table, the dog lay limp, her breathing weak. A powerful contraction rippled through her body, making her whimper in pain. "We have to act now." Dr. Carter turned to his assistant, Mia, whose face had gone pale at the sight before her. "Prep the operating room. We could lose both the mother and the puppies if we don't move fast." The surgical lights flickered on. Mia gently placed a heart monitor on the mother dog's chest, while Dr. Carter examined her swollen abdomen. But then, he froze. A wave of unease washed over him. Something was wrong. Beneath the damp fur, he could feel hard lumps along the mother dog's belly. His frown deepened as he carefully pressed along her abdomen, and when he looked up at the ultrasound screen, his heart clenched. "This can't be." Dr. Carter stared at the ultrasound screen. It wasn't just the developing puppies inside. There was something else. Large masses surrounded the uterus. A serious condition had taken hold of this frail body. It could be malignant tumors or a dangerous uterine infection. The operating room fell silent. Mia swallowed hard, her eyes darting between the ultrasound screen and Dr. Carter's grave expression. "Can we save her?" she whispered. Dr. Carter exhaled, gripping the edge of the table. "We'll do everything we can." The surgery began. Dr. Carter pulled on his gloves, his gaze steady with determination. Mia had prepared the necessary instruments, while another nurse gently stroked the mother dog's head as she lay unconscious under anesthesia. Keep her heart rate stable. The first incision cut through the skin, revealing the swollen uterus, heavy with life. Tension filled the room. Mia stood ready with warm towels to receive the newborns, while Dr. Carter focused intently. Carefully, he made a precise incision through the protective membrane, and then a faint whimper broke the silence. The first puppy was born, a tiny jet-black pup, trembling under the bright surgical lights, gasping its first breath. "It's breathing! It's breathing!" Mia cried out, quickly wrapping the tiny body in a warm towel. Dr. Carter didn't stop. One by one, he carefully delivered each fragile newborn, their faint cries filling the room. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tiny eyes barely opened for the first time, experiencing warmth and life. But then, Dr. Carter froze. A wave of unease washed over him. One puppy wasn't moving. No breath. Dr. Carter placed the tiny puppy on the table, his chest tightening. No signs of life. Mia's hands trembled as she pressed a stethoscope to its fragile chest. No heartbeat. Without hesitation, Dr. Carter began CPR on the newborn. 1, 2, 3. Rhythmic compressions on the tiny ribcage. Mia stood ready with the oxygen tube, gently pushing breaths into its fragile lungs. "We can't lose it," she pleaded, her voice breaking. 10 seconds, 20 seconds. No response. Dr. Carter met Mia's eyes. Should they keep going, or was it too late? He clenched his jaw and pressed on. Then, a faint gasp. The puppy trembled slightly, then let out a weak whimper. Mia exhaled sharply, tears welling in her eyes. It had survived. Relief filled the room, but Dr. Carter couldn't rest yet. Inside the mother's body, a large tumor still remained, a silent threat to her life. It was now or never. "Mia, prep for tumor removal." Mia nodded, quickly gathering the necessary tools. Dr. Carter launched into a race against time. Every blood vessel was sealed, every incision was precise, but even as an experienced surgeon, he couldn't be sure. Would she survive all of this? 2 hours later. The surgery was over. Mia wiped the sweat from her forehead, looking at Dr. Carter with hopeful eyes. The mother dog's heartbeat was stable. But would she wake up? The puppies had been placed beside her, but she remained motionless. Dr. Carter knelt beside her, gently resting a hand on her head. "You've fought so hard. Don't give up now." Mia quietly placed a hand on his shoulder. Now, there was only one thing left to do. Wait. Time passed slowly. No one spoke. The room was so silent that Mia could hear every tick of the clock on the wall. The mother dog remained still. The tiny puppies began to nuzzle against her, searching for warmth. One of them let out a faint whimper. Mia bit her lip. They couldn't survive without her. Dr. Carter stood with his arms crossed, staring at the motionless body on the operating table. He had done everything he could. But was it enough? A small movement. Mia gasped, her eyes widening. The mother dog twitches. Dr. Carter rushed forward, placing his hand on her chest. She's trying to wake up. Her heartbeat grew slightly stronger. Her eyelids fluttered. Then, slowly, they opened. Mia let out a sob, covering her mouth with her hands. She was back. Dr. Carter leaned in, his voice filled with emotion. "Welcome back, brave girl." The mother dog whimpered softly, her tired eyes scanning the room, until they landed on her puppies. Mia gently placed one of the pups closer to her. And then, something miraculous happened. The mother dog, weak but determined, lifted her head and touched her baby. Then, as if instinct took over, she licked its tiny fur, despite her exhaustion. A moment of silence filled the room. Dr. Carter and Mia could only stand there, witnessing a miracle. The mother had returned to her puppies. She had won. The newborns wriggled, pressing against her, searching for the warmth of her milk. Mia smiled, tears streaming down her face. She couldn't believe this had actually happened. Dr. Carter let out a long breath, his expression softening. "We did it." Mia nodded, gazing at the scene before her. A family, saved. Dr. Carter stepped back slightly, allowing Mia to move closer. She knelt down, gently stroking the fragile fur of one of the puppies. So tiny. The mother dog still didn't have the strength to move much, but there was a new brightness in her eyes. Life had returned. Dr. Carter checked her again. "We need to keep her at the clinic for a few more days." Mia nodded. She knew that even though the mother dog had survived the brink of death, she wasn't completely safe yet. That night, Mia couldn't take her eyes off the observation area. She sat by the glass window, watching the mother dog and her puppies nestled in warm blankets. A family. The mother dog occasionally shifted, using the little strength she had left to pull her babies closer to her body. Mia smiled softly. She had fought until the very last moment, just to be with them. No one knew what she had endured, but her story was anything but ordinary. The next morning, sunlight streamed through the window. Mia entered the room, carrying a tray of light food. As she knelt down, the mother dog lifted her head and looked at her. This time, there was no fear in her eyes. Mia slowly placed the tray in front of her. The mother sniffed it gently, then, for the first time, began to eat. Mia took a deep breath. This was the first step toward recovery. The puppies also started moving more, their tiny whimpers filling the room as they instinctively crawled toward their mother. Mia quietly watched. Everything had changed in just one night. In the days that followed, the mother dog grew stronger. The veterinarians closely monitored her, changed her bandages, and provided her with the nutrients she needed. The puppies slowly opened their eyes, seeing the world for the first time. And the most miraculous thing, the mother dog began to trust humans. When Dr. Carter reached out his hand, for the first time, she didn't flinch. Instead, she looked at him, with gratitude in her eyes. As time passed, the mother dog's progress became more and more evident. Every morning, Mia entered the recovery room to find her already sitting up, waiting. When Mia approached, the dog no longer curled up in fear. Instead, she wagged her tail, a clear sign of trust. "Good morning, brave girl," Mia whispered, stroking the fur that had grown thicker and healthier. The puppies had now learned to walk. They wobbled across the room, stumbling, then getting back up again. But Mia noticed something. The mother dog had not barked once since the day she was rescued. Maybe deep down, she still wasn't sure if she was truly safe. One day, while preparing medication, a nurse ran in. "Mia, you need to come right away. She's barking." Mia rushed into the room. The mother dog was standing, tall and proud. And then, when she saw Mia, she barked again. Not out of fear, not out of anxiety, but out of joy. Mia laughed, kneeling down and wrapping her arms around the mother dog. For the first time since arriving at the clinic, she had found the confidence to be herself. In the following days, Mia helped her regain even more strength. She took the mother dog and her puppies outside to the small yard behind the clinic. The moment her paws touched the ground for the first time in weeks, the mother dog paused, taking a deep breath. And then, she ran. Mia laughed as she watched the scene unfold. The 4 tiny puppies scrambled behind her, their little legs moving as fast as they could to keep up. The mother dog had regained her strength. But Mia knew there was still one final step. She needed a real home. Mia sat beside the mother dog, her eyes filled with quiet reflection. "We've come a long way, haven't we?" Mia whispered, gently running her hand through the dog's smooth fur. The mother dog looked up at Mia, her eyes warmer than ever. The days of pain, exhaustion, and fear were now just memories. But Mia knew this wasn't the end. The mother dog needed a real family, and not just any family. Mia wanted to ensure that she and her puppies would have a safe, loving home, where the past no longer haunted them. Mia posted an adoption listing on the hospital's pet rescue website. She carefully selected the most heartfelt photos, the mother dog playing with her puppies, watching over them with love as they slept. The description was simple, yet deeply moving. A brave mother fought with everything she had to protect her little ones. Now, she deserves a home filled with love. Who will give her a second chance? Within hours, hundreds of messages poured in. Animal lovers were deeply touched by her story, but Mia didn't want to place them with just anyone. She needed to find the perfect home. Among all the adoption requests, one letter stood out. I know she understands loss. So do I. The sender was a woman named Lisa, a former veterinarian who had left her practice after losing her husband in an accident. I've saved many animals, but I never had the heart to adopt another dog after losing my loyal companion. But when I read this story, I knew. It was time for me to open my heart again. Mia felt something special about this. She decided to call. Lisa arrived at the hospital the next morning. When she entered the room, the mother dog tensed slightly, but Lisa didn't speak. She simply knelt down and extended her hand, gentle, patient. The mother dog stepped forward. A moment of silence. Lisa softly stroked her head, and without hesitation, the mother dog nestled into Lisa's embrace, as if she had found something familiar. Mia couldn't believe her eyes. The mother dog had chosen Lisa. Lisa looked up, her eyes shimmering. Hello, sweet girl. Ready to go home? The mother dog wagged her tail. She was ready for her new journey. Lisa gently lifted the mother dog into the car, while Mia carefully placed the puppies into a warm basket. The car pulled away from the veterinary clinic, heading toward a place the mother dog had never known, a true home. Throughout the journey, Lisa kept speaking to her in a soft, soothing voice. You don't have to worry anymore. From now on, you will always be safe. The mother dog was still a little tense, but she was no longer afraid. Each time Lisa reached out her hand, the mother dog leaned her head against it, a small gesture, but one that carried deep trust. Lisa's home wasn't large, but it was warm and filled with memories. She had once had a dog just like this mother, but after losing her, she never found the courage to love another. Until today. Lisa gently led the mother dog into the living room. A soft bed, a bowl of fresh water, and a small meal had already been prepared. Lisa sat down on the floor, not forcing anything, just waiting. The mother dog hesitated for a moment, then stepped forward. She sniffed the bed, glanced at Lisa, and finally lay down. A soft sigh escaped her. For the first time in so long, she could truly relax. The following days were filled with heartwarming moments. The mother dog gradually grew comfortable with Lisa. Each day she became happier, stronger. The puppies grew bigger, more playful, exploring every corner of their new home. Lisa found a new purpose in life. Caring for them helped her heal the wounds in her own heart. One evening, as Lisa sat reading on the sofa, the mother dog quietly walked over and rested her head on Lisa's lap. Lisa smiled, running her fingers through the dog's soft fur. You know, you've saved me more than I've saved you. The first few days in her new home, the mother dog was still wary. Every time she heard an unfamiliar noise, she would look around, ears perked up, body tense, ready to protect her puppies. But gradually, Lisa's patience and love changed everything. For the first time, the mother dog accepted a hug without flinching. For the first time, she took food without immediately retreating to a corner. For the first time, she slept without staying on high alert. And then, one morning, When Lisa opened her bedroom door, the mother dog was standing right outside, wagging her tail gently. No more fear, no more hesitation, only trust. Lisa knelt down, reaching out her hand. The mother dog stepped forward and gently pressed her head into Lisa's embrace. That was the moment Lisa knew. They had truly become a family. But just when everything seemed perfect, a nightmare returned. One evening, Lisa noticed that the mother dog was no longer her usual self. She lay motionless, her breathing heavy, refusing to eat. Lisa rushed her to the vet. The diagnosis was devastating. Her underlying illness had returned. Emergency surgery was needed. Lisa clenched her hands as the vet said, "She has been so strong, but this time, we'll have to fight together." The mother dog's eyes remained as gentle as ever, as if she was ready to fight again, not for herself, but for her puppies. Lisa sat outside the operating room, her heart pounding in her chest. Every second felt like an hour. On the operating table, the mother dog was fighting for her life. Doctors and nurses worked tirelessly. Her heartbeat slowed. Her breathing grew weaker. Lisa clenched her hands, tears falling as she heard the erratic beeping of the heart monitor. She whispered a prayer. "Please, stay strong. Your babies are waiting for you." The room was thick with tension. And then, the heart rate dropped further. The doctor's grip tightened. "She can't leave now." An emergency injection was administered. A shock to restart her heart. A heartbeat. The entire room erupted with relief. Lisa sobbed with joy. The mother dog had returned to this world. After the surgery, she was weaker than ever. She couldn't stand. She could barely move. But her love for her puppies became her reason to fight. Gentle licks for each tiny pup. Soft nuzzles into Lisa's lap, full of trust. Meals, carefully hand-fed by Lisa, one bite at a time. And then, one morning, as Lisa opened her bedroom door, the mother dog stood up on her own, slowly, but stronger than ever. Lisa smiled, reaching out her hand. The mother dog stepped forward and gently rested her head in Lisa's lap. She had won this battle. As time passed, the mother dog recovered quickly. Her steps grew stronger and steadier. Her puppies became more playful, always clinging to her. The warm morning sunlight filled the room, illuminating moments of pure happiness. Lisa sat down beside her, gently placing a hand on her back. "You've done so well. You saved your puppies, and now you've become stronger too." The mother dog looked up at Lisa, her eyes filled with absolute trust. She was no longer a stray, wandering the streets alone. She had a family. Lisa shared a short video online, recounting the extraordinary journey of the mother dog. And within days, millions of people watched and were moved by her story. Local news outlets reached out to write about her. Thousands of heartfelt comments poured in from animal lovers. People sent messages of encouragement, praising Lisa's work in rescuing animals. But the most amazing thing was, a wonderful family stepped forward, wanting to adopt the mother dog and her puppies. On the day of their farewell, Lisa held the mother dog close one last time. "Live a happy life, my brave girl." The mother dog gently licked Lisa's hand, her way of saying, "Thank you." And then, she turned around, walking toward a new life, filled with love. What can we learn from this story? A mother's love in animals is just as sacred as in humans. Even in the harshest circumstances, love can create miracles. A small act of kindness can change an entire life. And here's a message for you. If you see an animal in need, don't turn away. You could be the one to create a miracle, just like Lisa did. If you love emotional stories like this, don't forget to hit like to spread love. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next story. share this video so more people can hear this heartwarming tale. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.